Okay, today we're going to talk about a topic very close to my heart. Why so many van life blogs failed after the huge Google update. Okay, so over the past 2 years, a quiet collapse happened in the van life blogging world. Websites that once made 5 or even 6 figures a year from ads and affiliate links suddenly lost 60, 70, sometimes 90% of their traffic. Some never recovered. So what actually happened? Okay, so to give a little context, if you weren't deep in blogging circles, you might not even know this happened, but a series of major Google updates, especially the helpful content update and subsequent core updates, dramatically reshaped search results. Sites that ranked for years suddenly just disappeared from page 1, replaced with like Reddit results or YouTube videos. And van life was one of the niches that felt it. I know this is not just as someone who lived van life, but as someone who works in SEO professionally. So I've been watching this from both sides, and my own website was hit very hard. There was a period, roughly 2016 to 2021, where van life blogging was extremely profitable. If you could rank for terms like how to build a van or best van life gear, you could earn significant ad revenue, add affiliate links, and it scaled quickly. A lot of sites followed a similar template: long how-to guides, listicles, heavy display ads, optimized headers, high keyword targeting, and for a good long while, that worked really well. So what changed? So Google started prioritizing different signals, not just keyword optimization, but perceived authority, originality, and depth. Templated content began to struggle. Over-monetized pages began to struggle. Sites that looked interchangeable began to struggle, and van life blogging at scale had become very templated. And in fact, even for myself, I had started my blog from a very genuine, like innocent perspective where it was really just a blog, but then I noticed that all the other blogs were doing stuff like ultimate guides or 10 best solar panels or van life for beginners. So I started over-optimizing my content. And even when the experiences were real, the structure often looked identical across the sites. So when Google updates started rewarding uniqueness and penalizing content that was mass-produced or thinly differentiated, many of the blogs collapsed. And in fact, I was actually doing myself a disservice by trying to lean into what I thought Google wanted. So there's also the monetization layer, and many van life blogs relied heavily on display ads, but high ad density slows down pages. It hurts user experience, and it can signal low quality perception. If your revenue model depends almost entirely on traffic volume and traffic disappears, so does income. So some bloggers pivoted, some shut down, some moved to YouTube or other social media channels. My own van life blog never reached those peak traffic numbers. It also wasn't as templated. It leaned more narrative, more first person, and ironically, years later, my traffic is steadier than some blogs that once dwarfed mine. It's not huge, it's modest, but it survived, and that tells me something. This wasn't just about van life, it was about a shift in how information is consumed. Google is increasingly competing with Reddit, TikTok, YouTube, AI answers, and if your blog exists purely to aggregate searchable answers without adding perspective, you're replaceable. And replaceable content is vulnerable. So let's talk about the hard truth of all of this. Van life itself was also peaking culturally during that blogging boom. Think COVID, everyone had to travel locally, so what do? You rent a van. As the aesthetic became saturated and mainstream, the search growth plateaued. If you're building content today in van life or any niche, the lesson isn't don't blog, it's don't build something that only works because of an algorithm loophole. Build something that reflects real perspective, real voice, real lived experience, because platforms will always change, but authority compounds and templates don't. So if you want more breakdowns like this, van life realities, internet shifts, and what's actually happening behind the scenes, subscribe. And if you were blogging during that era, I'd love to hear about what your experience was, and if you're still running that blog, and if you survived the Google update, or if you got eaten up by it. Thanks.